Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to my Facebook Live. Sorry. Trying to grab my notes at the same time the live is going. So today we're going to talk about the recap of the 3-day event. It went absolutely amazing. We got some really good feedback back from everyone. We're going to talk about the power of networking and what it means to surround yourself with like-minded people. And I'm going to give you a few of the number one takeaways that both my students told me at the event was for them, the takeaways, and also a few that I took away myself. So stay tuned for that, and we'll definitely get that covered for you. So I know one of the things that I know my girls always tell me, Edna, talk for 2 minutes, so give people a chance to get on so they don't have to go back and re-listen to the recording. But it's so hard to just talk to thin air without actually talking about something. Good morning, Jason. How are you? Thanks for sharing your books. That was so powerful. You know, we, between us, you and I, because they didn't, I think maybe one of Shelley's books got in on that, but I think they said there was $200 towards the book sales. So we'll find out for sure when I get my report from Habitat, but that's awesome. I don't know exactly what we raised for Habitat, but I'll make sure that that I announce it on here when we once we know. It's so important to give back to your community, and one of the things that we do is every time we have an event, we have different authors, different speakers that are at the event give away their books for a $10 donation to Habitat for Humanity on our behalf. Our goal is that we want to build our own house in 2 years. So we want to be able to put $200,000 or $100,000 towards that build. And I'll have some new numbers here shortly. I'm actually just waiting for my accountant to finish up everything, because we also donate 5% of all our Profit in the Prairies real estate investment groups membership fees. So, and wonderful. I think we signed up like eight new people for the Profit in the Prairies monthly meeting. So that's really exciting. So, okay, it looks like I probably talked enough, right, Chandel and Amanda? Okay, so I'm going to recap a bit about the speakers and stuff that we had for the event, because there was some really great stuff that I learned over the weekend, and or I guess it wasn't even a weekend, it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We all of us kept saying over the weekend because it kind of felt like a weekend. But we had some really good speakers. We had some really good booths there of people that had different services to offer. So it was really good. We started off the first day with a real focus on mindset, because as you all know, that is something I really believe strongly in. And I did my Mastering Your Money Mindset first, and then Mark France came on, and he's absolutely amazing, and he talked about just mastering your mindset and what it really takes to be a successful real estate investor, because there's a lot of moving parts in our business, and we have to be strong mentally to be able to handle all that stuff. So that was really good. I really enjoyed it, and I know for sure that I'll work with Mark again. He was awesome. And then we had, who do we have after that? Oh, we had Paul Martin speak. So Paul Martin is a local journalist, and he's been around for many years, and he gets inside track on a lot of stuff that's going on in Saskatchewan. So he spoke to us for it was an hour and a half, 2 hours, about the state of the economy, what's going on in the economy. And sorry, there's no recording available for that. That's the power of being live at our events. We get some good information, don't we, people? There's a lot of the ones on here from the weekend. Good morning, Ken. And a lot of really good stuff. You know, it just makes us really happy that we're living and investing in Saskatchewan. And there were quite a few people that were at the event outside of Saskatchewan, and they could see the value of investing in Saskatchewan too. too. So that was very, very powerful to have him speak to us for a couple hours. And then we had Shauna Golan, and she talked about dream building and building your dreams, and that was really good too. She had some exercises that we did that were really nice. And then we had a reception and cocktails while people went around the booths, and that lasted till about 8:30. And there was a lot of really good networking going on. The buzz was just every time in the on the breaks and stuff. There weren't people running out to take a phone call. They were networking. They were, and lots of people made some really, really good connections. So that was amazing. And on Tuesday, we started with, let me see if I can remember can't even remember my agenda. It feels so long ago already. Who did we start with Tuesday? Barry McGuire. So Barry McGuire did a really good presentation on agreements for sale. So we've actually done quite a few agreements for sale for apartment buildings that we've purchased. So he's really excited to come back and do a workshop for us. And we don't have an exact date yet, but we're working on June or July as a date for that workshop. And I know there was a lot of people interested in it. So we'll make sure and send you out as soon as we have a date finalized. We'll send it out to you and let you get in on that. It's a really powerful way to buy property with none of your own money and really help out other people, provide a good service to the community at the same time. So I'm not going to go into huge detail about it because you're going to hear about it when we write up our emails to you. And but it was really good. We got really good feedback from that. Then that was followed by my success panel. So I had, I think, 5 students on stage that each talked about the successes and the wins they'd had in the last year. One of the students was George Furneaux, who's been with me now for about 2.5 years, and he's been on the success panel a couple years. But the reason I had him up is just he's getting different opportunities now than he even had a year ago and 2 years ago, and I just wanted him to share that with the audience. So and he was talking about the power of the mastermind and what it takes to be a member of the mastermind and the opportunities that you get inside the mastermind with the other masterminders. So that was really good. Tyler and Bailey, of course, shared their success story and some of the biggest things that they got out of the 90-day to 5K program. Rob Parkman was there. So Rob was a new student in December. And the reason I brought him on stage is, although he doesn't have a owned property yet, he took massive action throughout that 90 days. And he had offers on a few different places, including an accepted offer on a shopping mall that we weren't able to pull the funds together for it. A lot of the people that we talked to, because we do teach about long-term buy and holds with apartment buildings, and we teach that, and then a lot of people were thinking, well, 3 doors is just a little bit more risky than maybe 12 or 18 doors. So we haven't totally given up on that one, unless it's under contract by someone else, and that's something Rob's checking out for us. So if he gets on here, he can let us know, because it's still something we'd like to do. And you don't always raise your capital the first time you present it to people. Some people are interested in different things. So that's why I wanted him on stage. He took massive action, and I have no doubt that very shortly he's going to have some other stuff, because he was telling me some other stuff that he was working on, and it's really, really going good. Who else was up there? I had George, I had Tyler Bailey, and I had Drew. So Drew is one of my students. He's the one that I think I've mentioned a few times. He just started with me in June, and within 6 weeks he had 2 properties owned that he had investor capital on, and cash flow of, I believe, $1,100 a month. So and then not that's just one thing. Then he went on to have a $9 million contract under contract for many months. He just recently walked away from it because the vendors weren't weren't moving the way that he wanted them to move. So, oh yeah, and Graham says, Gruffalo, Drew. Yes, Gruffalo. Drew told us a story about the Gruffalo. It was so funny. We just laughed and laughed. And again, you have to be there live to catch this stuff. I know I couldn't do justice to the poem because I hadn't heard it before, but it was so, so good. And then followed by the success panel in the afternoon, just after lunch. And wasn't the food amazing at that place, you guys? Oh my gosh, it was so good. They just treated us like royalty all 3 days. So after lunch, we had our prairie dragons. So and Ian says, I love the dragons. You know, that was a lot of people at the end told us how happy and how much they got out of the dragons. So what we do is we have people from the audience propose a deal to the dragons. And the people that we had as dragons were George Furneaux, Barry McGuire. Barry McGuire's a lawyer, so he has a different take on things. Travis McConaughey and Galen Panko, all very different investors. They all have different takes on things. And it was so interesting to see the different takes that people took on the same investment. And Jancy Templeman got up and offered a couple that sounded really good to me, and I know the panel were interested. A lot of times what happens is the panel will say, hey, we're interested, or that sounds good, or this is what I would do with that. What I recommend to the people who present is follow up with those people who showed an interest. We don't always, it's not like Dragon's Den where the deal gets done that day, but follow up with it. You know, last year we had a fellow on stage who presented us with a business, and Warren was on stage, and even though it wasn't entirely real estate related, it was partially real estate related, as in there was a building involved that needed to be built. And you know, we worked with that guy. We had many meetings, and in the end he decided not to go with us because he would have lost too much of his ownership. And that, you know what, that's entirely okay. We give advice, we show them what we would do, and of course we bring value to the table. But he was a very smart investor. They don't always necessarily need us. Sometimes after a while they realize that if they can just raise the capital on their own, that it works out better. So he chose to go that way. And the last time I talked to him, they were putting shovels in the ground this spring, like this, I think he said March. So it's absolutely a go-ahead. So even when it seems like it might not have worked from stage, it was something that got everything started. A lot of conversations, good things had, and I'd like to get Chad on here someday to kind of tell us, you know, what he ended up doing, because that's so exciting for me. And then who else presented? Drew presented a deal, and he actually was out with one of the dragons last night, and they were working on it. So that is so powerful. So those dragon deals, I actually had somebody say to me one time, is that actually real or is that just scripted? No, you know what? It's real. Not to say that every deal gets funded, because some of them don't make sense. And one of the keys, and we try to share this with our students as much as possible, is, you know, make the offer short and succinct. One of the fellows went on a little bit long. I didn't get a chance to talk to him ahead of time to give him direction, but the next three I did. So I just said, you know what? Make your pitch in 5 minutes or less, and then do the ask. So ask them what you're looking for. Are you looking for an investors? Are you looking for advice? What are you looking for with the ask? And then what you're willing to give for that ask. So the details of it. So the three were really good. I would like to hear from Jancy if she got her deal funded, because or one or both of them, because I know people were interested. And sometimes what happens is it's not a dragon that takes the deal, but somebody from the audience. And I know that she had a list of people that were interested in talking to her more. What was the other one? Oh, and then Logan presented a deal, and I think he had the deal under contract. Actually, I think he wrote the contract that day. So I don't know if he had the deal under contract, so I'm not going to give too many details, but I know that there's people interested in that one as well. So it was overall a very good presentation. And one of our mastermind members actually took a whole load of carload over to look at the building that she's looking for investors on after the event on Wednesday and before the Profit in the Prairies meeting. So I didn't actually get to talk to her to see what interest people had, but that was good. And so many people said that was the highlight of the 3-day event. It is so good. So for next year, come on out, pitch your deals. Like we generally only have room for 4 or 5, and I think this time we had 5, and it took us right the 2 hours that we allotted. So it went over really, really good. And then on Wednesday, I had Marcin Drode speak, and he's all about RMR, recurring monthly revenue. And he showed us how not only has he been able to do that with his business, which we can invest in, but also showed us how we could do that on our businesses. So very, very powerful presentation. We also had Shelley Hagan, and she showed us the fastest ways to get cash, and she wholesales a lot of really interesting things. Like she wholesales jet fuel and oh my gosh, I can't even think of all the things that she's wholesaled, but that was another favorite presentation. Marcin's was a favorite presentation. I think I had somebody say every single presentation was a favorite. I even had my daughter get up on stage, and she did her oratorical that they had just practiced at school, that she got second place out of the whole her age group, or her classroom, I guess I should say. And she competes, she's in grade 7, and she competes against grade 8. So she was second in place, and I actually had parent-teacher interviews last night. And he said it was actually like 1 point difference. He said he really wanted to push Danny, but you know what? It worked. She actually asked me if she could be on stage at my event, and I went, absolutely. It's my event. I can put up there whoever I want. So she went up and she did a 5-minute, her 5-minute talk on optimism versus pessimism, and how it gets you ahead in life. And everybody said it was really, really good. As a matter of fact, one of my students is a teacher, and she teaches students that have English as their second language. And she asked Danny if she would talk to her students. Isn't that powerful? And Danny, by being on stage, loved it. So she thinks that this might be something she wants to do in the future. And so I think that's really cool. And Amanda, actually, it wasn't Logan Gerard that pitched, it was Logan Haas, Haas. So sorry, I should have been more clear about that. Logan Gerard was working on a deal that he was trying to get under contract so he could pitch it, but just at the last minute, he decided not to go ahead with it. They were asking too much for what it wasn't worth the value that they were asking. So he's definitely tells me he's going to be on stage next year. I asked the group, I said, how many people are going to be on stage here next year in my success panel? And there were lots of people in the audience putting up their hands. So they all suggested I might need a bigger stage next year. So that was really, really powerful. Probably what I do though is I'll still pick my top 4 or 5, because you know what, it's getting better and better each year. We're hearing more interesting things, and we're just getting better. You know what, that's what happens when you're 3rd year in. Everything runs smoother, everything gets better. So we really enjoyed that. What else did we have? Our very own marketing team, Think Big, got up and spoke about the power of marketing and told a bit of some of the success that they've had for marketing for me and for some other people that they've had, and what it takes to start to market your business. It's not all about what you're going to get return on the first dollar you spend, but it takes some time. But I know myself personally, we're seeing a lot of traction from that. So Chandel did a really, really good talk. And then we ended it with Marja Harmer doing a actual sales presentation, because so many people are scared to sell. And we showed people how you don't have to be scared to sell. It's really just getting to know people and getting to know what they're looking for, and then offering your services if it fits. I'll say good morning. Good morning, Harry. Harry really enjoyed the weekend, or the 3 days too, didn't you, Harry? Good morning, Terry. Good morning, Graham, Ion, I think I said hi, Tyler, Bailey. Okay, great. So anyway, it was an awesome event. One of the one of the speakers, Marcin, I had a chance to sit down with him between speakers, and he said, you know, Edna, you really should offer a special for everybody that's here for next year. And I said, well, what could that look like? And he says, well, why don't you offer people a 2-for-1 ticket? And I went, oh, okay. Well, you know what? I didn't get a chance to figure out any of that, but let me see what I can work on tonight. He just got in Tuesday, so he told me about that. So on Wednesday morning, I made an offer, and I kind of made it up as we went because I wasn't sure of everything. But I said, for people who want to come next year, give us a $99 deposit now, and you can have two tickets. Now, it's a lot of people that were there for they got the 99 free ticket this year because they bought early enough. It was the early bird. They rolled over, and now they're going to get 2-for-1 next year. So I was able to present that, give the value. I hadn't come up with a date yet, so somebody in the audience said, what date? Because I got to book holidays. And so I came up with a date. So it's March 26th, 27th, and 28th, 2018. So book your seat for that now. You can still get it for 2 people for $99. I heard a lot of really good feedback from the booths that we had too. You know, there was some really good booths in the crowd. I had Adam LeBuc from Pinnacle Wealth to talk about different, and we also gave people time Monday night to all talk about what their offer was at their booth too, so that, you know, because sometimes, you know, when there's lots of people milling around, you don't get to every single booth. So we had them get up on stage and talk about what their offer was, and so they all got up on stage and talked. Adam LeBuc is Pinnacle Wealth representative that I actually have take over all my clients from Pinnacle Wealth when I gave up my license just over a year ago. So he looks after all my existing clients, and I still refer people to him all the time. So I wanted him to be there, see what we're working on. And then, of course, he's got some really good stuff for RSPs, and not just RSPs, but that's usually what I recommend people to him for, because a lot of the cash money we can use for ourselves, investing in apartment buildings and stuff. What else did we have? I'm just going to try to go around the room. Well, Shauna had her booth there for Dream Builders. Don Rosem had a booth there for I Buy Houses. And he's also a member of Toastmasters, so he was promoting Toastmasters. Our company that we own 50% in, Tamco Homes, had a booth there, just sharing what they do when they're building and renovating and stuff like that. Habitat for Humanity had a booth there, and they were sharing their new build, which is just amazing what they've been able to do for our community. And you know, one of the things that Chelsea talked about on stage, because she also had a half-hour spot, is she talked about, because she says a lot of people think that that Habitat for Humanity is just giving welfare people houses. And she said, no, it absolutely isn't. She says, it's actually for people whose families have a history of buying houses, but there's challenges that have come up in their life that they haven't been able to. One woman she talked about that was able to get a house recently was raising 4 boys by herself and working 4 jobs, I think, to try to make ends meet for her and her family. And, you know, people like that deserve a hand up. You know, it's not even a handout, it's a hand up. I can just imagine that those boys will you know, be successful homeowners someday because of getting that hand up. So it was really important, and it was very inspiring, her whole talk of being able to help these people. And she shared some of the stories of, you know, of how they ended up in situations where they just weren't getting out of the rut that they were in without a little bit of help. And, you know, they still pay market value for the house. They just get it interest free. And all their payments go back into Habitat for Humanity. So that's really powerful too. And I know I still remember one that I participated in. She ended up getting married a few years later and moved in with her husband, and they sold the home and they got their equity out of it too. So then somebody else gets to go in and do that. So, or move into that house and start building up the equity. So it's a really, really powerful program. So if you ever are looking to put out some donation dollars, please reach out to us, and we'd love to have you part of the build that we're going to do in 2 years. So love to do that. I just want to share a bit of the highlights about the power of networking. You know, everybody in the room was saying like what a great community we've built and how they felt really at home, and how they could see each other doing business with each other. Like that's the kind of atmosphere that we had going on. And you know what? It's all about the people that come. We like attracts like. People who don't fit in will kind of weed themselves out. There's no doubt. Ones that fit in, they like the community we've built, and they're the type of people that we want to continue working with. And we met some amazing people ourselves. We had a ton of people sign up for the 90 Day to 5K program that's starting on April 4th. So actually, Chandel has a note here that I should just mention, just to let you know that the program closes April 4th. We start our class on April 4th. So if you're still looking at getting in on that, we have it as a special right now, $19.97, that you can get in for the 12-week course. And remember, it's lifetime access. So if you buy now, even if you can't start till next go around or whatever, you have lifetime access. You can come back again and again. And we have had people do that. You know what? Life gets in the way. They can't finish up. So they just say, Edna, put us on the list for the next go around. And that's actually something, if there's anybody on here that is a graduate or didn't quite finish the last one and you want to be put on to get the mail outs, like you have access to your membership site. You don't need me for that. But if you want to be put on the schedule for the live calls and the live Q&A and stuff like that, just reach out to me and I'll make sure that you get on the list again. And if you told me at the event, it probably would be a good idea to remind me again, because I don't want to miss you, but I probably didn't write it down and I'm not sure of everybody that told me that. So please do that. I know there was a lot of fun had by all. There were some people went out, I think Tuesday night and really had a lot of fun and made some really good connections. So like I said, it was a really powerful weekend. We'd love to have you guys, jump on board with the 90 Day to 5K if you haven't done so yet. I've seen a couple people on here saying they're excited to get started. So that's awesome. Who else do we have on here? Yeah, so Amanda's put the link on here for the Book Your Seat for Pref 2018. And remember, the rule is you show up, you get your money back, or we might come up with another special. Who knows? I didn't know of that one before we started. It was like, Marcin suggested, and I thought that's a brilliant idea. So that's something else that's going on. And we called it Groundhog Day after the event. And we met with some of the team members that were helping people sign up for the 90 Day to 5K. And we have a third party come in to help us with that. And she suggested that we offer a referral special. So just in case I might beat the people who are going to be calling you guys, but for anybody that was at the event, we're gonna be calling to see if there's anybody that you know of that would be interested to get into the program for April, and they're offering a $100 incentive for the referral to do that, and a $100 incentive for the referrer. So, if there's somebody that that should be taking this, either give me a call, shoot me an email, and make sure they get a phone call, because there's not much time left. I mean, it's Tuesday when it starts. I know they're going to be calling people over the weekend. So if you know of somebody who's interested, shoot me an email or text and with the contact information, and we will get hold of them for you and see if we can tell them about the 90 Day to 5K that's coming up. Then, we had Wednesday night, we had our Profit in the Prairies Real Estate Investment Group, and Nathan Cressman spoke at that. And, Nathan is one of our neighbors, and he's been a realtor for years. And he's now a realtor for McDougall Auction. So we were really interested. We'd had a coffee with him not too long ago, and we were really interested in knowing more. And he gave us a nice chat. So we invited him to speak at the event, and I had to leave a little bit early, and I didn't get a chance to watch the video yet of the second half. But it was very, very, very good. You know, Nathan's very knowledgeable. He's been in the industry for a lot of years. And one of the things that he said that I really, really liked was, don't get too high and don't get too low. You know, if you go out and you make a sale and you're walking on cloud nine, and you know, don't go out and buy that new car just yet. Show up to work the next day and keep moving on that high, and don't let yourself get too low when something doesn't go your way. So you think you make a sale and you're gonna make 10,000, and then boom, they decide at the last minute they're not gonna do it. Well, you know, some of that can be pretty high, some of it can be pretty low. Don't let all that stuff get to you. Just know that it's gonna happen. You're gonna get some, you're not. So just get up and come back to work the next day. And that was a really good reminder. You know, that's something I've always been good at. And I know even back when I worked at K-Line, one of the things my boss always said he liked about me was I was very steady and not all over the map, and you know, like not moody and way up and way down and all that kind of stuff. And he really appreciated that. And it's so true in sales. You know, sometimes we have a really good month, and sometimes the next month's not so good. We just have to be prepared. We have to not spend every dollar that first time, and we have to, you know, save for a rainy day. And we just have to get up the next day and go back to work, no matter if it was a good day yesterday or not. So I really, really, really like that quote. It was a really good reminder of what it takes to be a good salesperson. And the other thing he talked about is he says, he tells his family and his 4 boys, he says, I get paid to have coffee. And he says, I have a special group that I meet with at least once a month, but he says, I'm always inviting people for coffee. So that he's a power networker. That's what you need to do to build this business. We get opportunities to us all the time because of our network. And you know, even last night, I was talking to one of my network people, and we're kind of talking through just a mini challenge that I had. And you know what? By the end of the conversation, we turned it into a major opportunity. That's the other thing with just brainstorming with somebody. And you think, well, this is a little challenge that we got coming up, and how are we going to deal with it? And it ends up being an opportunity. So pay attention to that kind of stuff too. It's really, really powerful. So Amanda's been really awesome about adding in all the connections for people on here. Nathan Cressman, and she's got the 90-day to 5K course if you still want to sign up. Remember, we have a special on, and you can also get the mindset course tacked on for $597 now. And as you guys know, I have different specials all the time, but I'm gonna give you a recap of my 90-day to 5K course. When I started it, I knew it was valuable information, and I started out offering it at $5,000. And I had many people go through the course, and they absolutely said it was worth every penny. But at the end of the year, we decided to put it on sale for $1,295 because we wanted to reach the masses and really affect a lot of people's lives and help them get started, because really think that the next 18 months is a really good time to be looking at real estate in Saskatchewan and different areas too. But I show you how to find those opportunities when we're having a market like we are right now. And we had a lot of people sign up. Now, those people who signed up in December and January got the mindset course for free. It was included because it was a beta test. We wanted to see the interest level and all that before it was 100% built, and they got it free. Now, the offer at the event and up until April 4th is actually up till the event. We offered it again to a few more people with the 90-day to 5K $19.97, and the the group phoned around and asked people if they wanted to commit to the 90-day to 5K program before the event. If they did, they got the mindset course thrown in, the $597 value at the I think $547, $597. Regular value $14.97 at the event, and up until April 4th, the 90-day to 5K is $19.97 and $547 for the mindset course, so no longer free. So know that things are probably going to change again before next time. So get in and get your ticket. Like I said, you have lifetime access to this. I see the value. Sometimes you give people an extra break to get them in, get them talking about what's going on, and bringing referrals in. But the price is probably not going to stay at $19.97, and neither's the mindset course. $547, $597. I can't remember exactly what it is, but Amanda will have it on here. If it's included with the 90-day to 5K program. It's going to be offered as a standalone for $14.97. So just know that. And as a lot of people found out this week when we had our event, mindset is 90% of your success. And if you're sitting there right now saying, I can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do that, that's a mindset thing. Because there are people in our 90-day to 5K that now understand that yes, they can without any of their own money, and they've done it. So just know that. So if you're saying I can't or I don't know how, it's a mindset. We can change that. And that course might be the best place for you to start because it's going to be rolling out by the end of next week. You're going to have the first lesson. So make sure that, and again, it's going to be pre-recorded and sent out so you can access it when you want, and you can access it again and again because you'll be a member once you're in there. Lifetime membership as well. So reach out, have a look at some of that stuff. Don't sit on the fence. We talked this week about, you know what, do you want to be in the same spot you were last year at this time by walking away and not signing up for something? The ones who are moving ahead are the ones who are signing up and doing stuff and making it happen. And it's so nice to get your hand held through some of the learning curve. Oh, okay. Chandel has asked me if I can also explain the one-on-one coaching offer and the group coaching offer too. Okay, so what we've done, and you'll see it when you go in to buy the 90-day to 5K courses. There's a next level you can add on, which is the mindset. There's also a next level you can add on, and again, it's right now. I'm not sure if I'm going to offer that going forward. A lot of it depends on how many people sign up, because if I get a whole bunch of people sign up, well, my time is limited and my coaching staff's time is limited, so we can only do so many a quarter. So there's a three-hour coaching offer for $9.97 in there too. And the ones who are finding that helpful are the ones who are taking action and need some help with the offers, with what to say to the investor, help finalizing their presentation in the midst of the 90-day, because the presentation where it's actually put together is not till a later module. And some people are finding deals like right away and they need the extra help. So spend the $9.97 for the extra 3 hours coaching. That's where you get one-on-one stuff. Other than that, it's all, the only time you can do the live Q&A is at the end of each webinar, which again, everybody's welcome, and it could be something to do with a deal if you want to talk about it. I'll take anything in there, because generally if you're working on a deal, it's going to help the other students as well. And if it's too detailed, too one-on-one, then I'm just going to suggest that you buy some coaching hours. So know that too. And then there's also a group coaching offer in there. And you know what? For the life of me, I even forget what the heck it is. Chandel, if you can remind me of what that is, let me know. But the details are in there when you go to buy. And it's just, yes, I want it, or no thanks, and you move on. So you guys do that. And then also, And this is another, I love my marketing team. They're so awesome. They've really been able to help a lot of my students take themselves now to the next level. They're also throwing in their online course. It's a 4-week course to help you with your beginning of your marketing. Now, it doesn't start, it starts once you're done the 90 day to 5K. So for the ones that are done the 90 day to 5K now, reach out to them. You've got a 4-week course because they offered it in December and January too. They're offering it again. Again, we can't promise that that's going to be available next time, because if we get too busy, then we have to start knocking some of that kind of stuff off. So those are some of the bonuses that you're getting if you sign up now. And of course, the 90 day to 5K is just worth the value, even when it's $5,000. So you're just getting a bonus. If you can't do it right now, we totally understand. If we had a really good exercise this week, actually. And on Tuesday night, I sent everybody home with it was Monday night, with a page that said 50 ways to afford something right now. And the people were, I bet you there was over half the room, maybe even 2/3 of the room that did the homework. Some didn't, there's always people that don't, but 2/3 of the room did the homework, and they got 50 ways to afford something right now. So if Chandel can put the link on there, it's just a brainstorming where you sit down and start thinking of ways you could afford something right now. Because you know what? My belief is that if it's important to you and you see the value in it, you can find the money. And if you don't, it's a mindset thing. So at the very least, get the mindset course, and I'll help you find the money between now and then. That's my belief system now. And I didn't always believe like that. Like I told my story this week, I was a single mom, and I was never better than a C student. I didn't have a ton of interest in doing better, making better marks. It just didn't interest me. If C was happy, I didn't like to spend all my spare time studying. So if they couldn't teach it to me during school hours, it didn't get done. My brother was a different story. He would study evenings and weekends, and he was an A student. I was never an A student. Just didn't have the time for that. And so we talked about some of that kind of stuff. But I got out of that rut, and I changed my thinking. And the thinking that I've changed has got me to where I am today. And I can help you get there. So reach out and do that. I look forward to working with each and every one of you. We've got over 25 students signed up already for the next one, and we're very, very excited to be working with you and to see those success stories. A lot of them were saying, yes, I'm going to be on your stage next year. Absolutely. So I can't wait to see that happen. There's a lot of ambitious people in that crowd, and I can just see that they're going to get the work done to make sure that they get there. So I think I am past my half hour, so that's good. Oh yes, I'm almost at 10:45. So thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. So grateful to have all the turnout that we did on the 3 days. We were over 90 attendees, and of all the people that bought tickets, there was one person who didn't show up. And I was telling my mentor that the other day, and he said, that never happens. One person that didn't show up. There were a couple that showed up late because they were sick, but they showed up, and one person didn't, and he's going to get a call from us today to see if there's anything we can do for him. Because you know what? Some things happen. Sickness in the family. One guy had to leave early for sickness in the family. This guy's a business owner, so could very easily have had something come up, but we're going to reach out and touch base with them too. So just know that. So Amanda says, if anyone wants the free download, such as 50 ways to afford something right now, it's all available in the 5-day challenge section. And I had a lot of good feedback about that too. I had another fellow who was in the challenge that actually phoned me up yesterday, and he's got a deal under contract, $960,000 based on that challenge. So it happens. It absolutely happens. So if you haven't done the challenge, do it, and then share with me what you've been able to do. I'd love to hear your story, and we'll keep sharing as we hear what happened with the successes of the Dragon's Den. How many people were able to raise capital from that? Because to us, that's a really exciting time. So thanks again very, very much for participating here today, and we'll see you Monday as usual for Mindset Monday. Bye for now.